Welcome. In this three-part series, we're going to show how to create a Yamazumi chart, an operator loading chart, and a fully functioning dashboard with control parameters to adjust available time and customer demand to recalculate takt and operators needed for a process, all using Tableau. In this tutorial, we're going to connect to our data and build our operator loading chart and Yamazumi chart. So before we get started, a quick introduction to our assembly cell. The average demand is approximately 400 units per day. It's currently operating on one shift, which is 7.5 working hours, and is currently using 8 operators. It's an assemble to order environment where custom orders that come in today all need to be assembled and shipped the following day, meaning the demand can actually change. Even though it averages to 400 units per day, it could range anywhere from 200 to 600 units a day needing to be assembled and shipped. And each customer order translates into a separate work order and is a different part number, and it requires a different material setup, has a different bill of material for our assembly cell. So the primary downtime that deducts from our available time is the downtime associated with setting up the materials for each work order. To get started, we simply need to get our time observation data into a format that can be connected to Tableau. We're going to use Microsoft Excel. So we're going to consolidate our time observation worksheets into one list of tasks, every task for our entire process, its sequence as observed in the current state, the cycle time for that task, which operator is performing that task, assign a category to the task that'll be used for future analysis of determining waste and opportunities to pull waste out of our process. And we want to know whether or not the task is manual or auto run or auto machine. Before going into Tableau, it's important to make sure that all of these labels and categories and data are clean. Once in Tableau, to connect to the data source, select our Excel file and simply bring our time observation data in. Let's go to Sheet 1. And because they're numeric, Tableau brought in operator and sequence as measures, but they're going to be used as attributes, not used in any way to aggregate. So we need to convert those both to dimension. Great. So we've now connected to our data, converted operator and sequence from measures to dimensions. Now we're ready to start building our visualizations. To create our operator loading chart, we simply need to bring cycle into rows and operator into columns. Let's bring manual auto into the view, and let's give ourselves a filter and show the filter to give ourselves control to turn off our auto machine if we'd like. Now I'm just going to do a few things to clean this up a bit. And now we've built our operator loading chart. To build our Yamazumi chart, let's create a new worksheet, and let's begin by bringing cycle into rows and sequence into detail. Tableau defaults so that the first task in the sequence is at the top and the last task in the sequence is at the bottom. If we were to build this manually, it would be reversed. So to reverse this, let's go into our sequence, sort. We're going to select the field sequence and reverse this to descending order. Now my first task is at the bottom and my last task is at the top. Let's go ahead and bring category into our view and drag it onto color. When we do this, we lose our sequence. But to fix this, all we need to do is deprioritize category on our marks card. And now our chart returns to the sequence with the first task at the bottom and the last task at the top. Let's filter out of our view the auto run machine steps and leave only the manual steps, because we want to see the total of manual cycle times, which when divided by takt is going to give us the number of operators required for this process. I'm going to bring task into the view into detail, simply so that it will now show in my tooltip. And then I'm going to proceed to clean up some formatting, just as we did on the operator loading chart. So that's the single stack Yamazumi chart that we're going to use on our dashboard to show the relationship of the sum total of all of our manual cycle times, which when divided by our takt time is going to calculate the number of operators required for our process. But before we leave, I wanted to show one of the advantages and features of doing this in Tableau. Let's duplicate our Yamazumi chart that we've just built, our single stack, and let's simply drag operator into columns. Now we've reproduced our operator loading chart, but with the same stack up as our Yamazumi chart, or a Yamazumi chart for operator balancing. So with that, let's move forward with calculating our takt time, which we're going to do with parameters that we can adjust for customer demand and available time. And we're going to add reference lines to our chart so we can see our takt line move accordingly.